Back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a shirt with a placket, and it has like two slits on the side. It's like a female top, and for that you will need about maybe 2.5 yards of fabric. So first thing you're going to do is to open up the fabric. So you make sure you fold the fabric into two this way, and then the width you're going to use is your hip divided by 4 plus 1.5 inches, or maybe plus 1.5 inches. The 1.5 inches, 1 inch for your seam allowance and half an inch for your ease. If you want, you could just use your the hip measurement divided by 4 plus just 1 inch instead of adding the half an inch. The half an inch is just to have room inside the cloth, except you just want it fitted. So the next thing you're going to do is to measure the length. So for me, I'm using 31 for my length. I'm going to add extra 1.5 to it also. The 1.5 I'm adding is for my ease, for my seam allowance. The 1.5, half an inch for attaching the top, 1 inch for folding the end when I'm done. So I've marked mine now. The next thing is to come on 2 pieces of the first one. The way I marked it out, just the length and then the width. I cut 2 pieces of it. So I have 2 pieces here, one and then the second one. So one is my front panel, one is the back panel. So the first thing you're going to do now is to go up to the shoulder part. So I'm going to use this as my shoulder side here. So the first thing is to mark your shoulder. The shoulder I'm working with is 16 divided by 2. I'm going to have 8. So I'm going to mark it here. I'm going to come down this way, mark my armhole. The armhole I'm working with is 20 divided by 2. That's going to be 10. So I'm going to come down here and mark 10, and then join this line together this way. And then from the shoulder, I'm going to mark shoulder to bust. That's about 10.5 here. And then shoulder to waist, 17.5 here. And then shoulder to hip, about 24.5 down here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to come down on the line for the bust. Come down on the line for the bust. The bust measurement I'm working with is 40 divided by 2. That's going to be divided by 4. That's going to be 10. So I'm going to add extra 1.5 to it. So that's going to be about 11.5 inches. So I'm going to mark it here. So basically, I have 3 lines here: shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist, shoulder to hip. On each line, bust, I'm going to do bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1.5, and then waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1.5 again. So the waist I'm working with is going to be, waist measurement I'm working with is 36 divided by 4 is 9 plus 1.5 is going to be 10.5 here. So if you want, you could just use add 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch instead of 1.5. I'm adding the 0.5 just to have an ease in the dress. I don't want it to fitted. So, but if you want it tight, you can always just use 1 inch instead. So we already calculated for the hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1.5. So what I'm going to do is now connect the lines. So I'm going to connect the bust to the waist, and then the waist to the hip. And then after that, I'm just going to go up to the shoulder here, and then mark 3 by 3 square here. Then come down again. Just make a square that is 3 by 3. And then also 3 inches down here. So the length is 3, the width is 3 inches. So you're going to mark it this way. And then you're going to come down on the shoulder, mark your shoulder slant 1 inch down, and then you're going to connect it this way. And then midway from this point to this point here, for me is 9 here, right? Midway is going to be 4.5. So I'm going to, at this 4.5, I'm going to come in by extra half an inch, and then connect it this way. But I'm not going to cut this out until when I'm done until when I remove the back panel, then I can remove this here. But for my back neckline, I'm going to just come down by 1 inch here and then connect it this way. So now I'm basically done. If you want a curve at the end of your top, what you're going to do is just come in by maybe 1.5, angle it this way from the angle 1.5 here, and then you just mark it this way, and then you curve it. Then you cut out this excess, you cut out this piece here. But I'm just going to show you guys how I'm going to cut this out. So I'm going to start this way, cut this here. This is my back neckline here for the back panel, and then cut this off. So guys, I've cut out from here, cut down here. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and cut off the excess on the side, just traced it out. And you see my back panel doesn't have any zip allowance. That's because it's going to come with the front panel. So this is the last thing I'm going to cut for the two of them, which is going to be the curve at the end. So after this, my back panel is done. There's nothing else to cut. I've cut out the curve. If you don't want, you could leave your own the way it was angled before. So now I'm going to separate the back from the front. So this is my back panel. I won't cut any other thing on this again. So but now on the front panel, I have two things to cut out after that. Cut off the neckline, right? I'm going to cut off the neck, open up the neckline more, and then I'm going to cut off this piece here from this line here down this way. Now guys, I've cut that off. So what I'm going to do is to cut open about 11 inches here or about 10 inches here. So I'm going to just cut straight line, like open it up about 10 inches down. So I'm going to stop here. So this is where I'm going to put in my placket. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is I've already cut it out. So this piece here is what I'm going to be using for this. So for me, I have about, the width here is 7.5 to 13 inches. So this is going to be what I'll use for the placket. How you can determine the length is just to check if it's 10 inches that you use as the opening, maybe you add extra 4 inches to what you're going to use for your placket. So I'm going to just place this here. I already have a video on how to put in a placket. So what you're going to do is 1.5 inch or 2 inches will be on this side, and then the other inches you will use it on the other side. So I'm going to just hold this here. You can, when you do it this way, then you flip it around, right? So guys, you're going to place the right side of this facing this here, and then you see how I placed it here. 1.5 is on this, or 2 inches on this side, and then the rest is on this side. So what you're going to do is to go to the sewing machine and make a stitch all the way down, about leaving half an inch on the inside, cross over this way, and then make a stitch coming up this way. And then when you're done, you're going to make a notch with your scissors on this angle and then this angle, and then you're going to have like a triangle on the center. See, I have about 1.5 on this side and then the rest on this side. So I'm going to open up this here, but I'm going to do it from the other side. Open this up here, and so what I'm actually cutting is the piece that I added at the back, and then the triangle that I was talking about at this end, you're just going to try to use maybe a smaller scissors, and then you cut like a notch here, pointing this direction, and then you cut another one pointing this direction. This is just to ease the tension at the end, and try to avoid the stitch that you made at this end here, but also like get to this angle, like try to get to the angle here, but try to avoid this stitch that you made. So you see, now you have something like this at the center. You can easily just cut this off and leave it open. This little piece of fabric here, cut it off. So now this is what I have here. So you're going to flip it to the right side here, and then you're going to just fold it this way, So the smaller one is what you're going to fold first. You fold it, this is what you're going to do. You fold it into this way, like halfway, and then you're going to flip it this way. Like after folding it, you're going to flip it on itself here, and then make a stitch. So now you're going to stitch it down. You see what it looks like here? So you're going to make a stitch all the way down. The same thing is what you're going to do here. Fold it in, and then you just keep it this way and make a stitch down. After the one for this side, the next thing you're going to do is to fold this side. So to fold this side, all you have to do is to fold about half an inch for the end here, and then you just flip it here and use this half an inch that you folded to cross over on top of this stitch here at the back, right? And then you flip it. Now you have your placket to cover the back here. You have the placket to cover the back here. So let me show you again. So you basically fold the end about half an inch just to fold off this rough edge. You take it and then you place it on top of this one here. Place it on top of this one here, and then you flip it the other way around. You turn it around and then go back and make your stitch all the way. You fold it in, make your stitch all the way to the end. By then this one is already done. Make your stitch all the way to the end here, and then when you get to this, you make your stitch all the way down here, fold it in, make a stitch down here, cross over, come up back again and make it like a zigzag stitch down here, cross it over down here. So that way you have your placket open. Like this will be this way, and then you have this one covering it. You put your button on this side, your buttonhole on this side. So after that, so we'll set this aside to cut the two pieces. When I was starting with the front and back panel, that same way I have two pieces here for the two sleeves, and the width I'm using is just how you're going to get your width is when you fold the fabric into two, your armhole divided by 2. So the armhole I'm working with is 20 divided by 2 is 10. So my width is 20. My width here is 10. If I open it up and measure it, then I'll have 20. So I have 2 of it here, one sleeve and then the second sleeve. So the next thing is to how you're going to get your length. So for me, the length of the sleeve is going to be 14.5, but I added extra 1.5 to it, so I have 16 inches total here. So to mark the sleeve, I'm going to mark about 4 inches down for my sleeve cap, this way, and then from here I'm going to curve it this way. I have a video already on how to cut a sleeve, and then the end here is the sleeve width is going to be 12 inches, so that's 6. So that's going to be 6. That's 12 divided by 2 is going to be 6, plus extra 1 inch for ease because I don't want it tight, and on the picture you could see it's not tight, so I added extra 1 inch to it, so that's going to be 17. And then the 1 inch is for extra 1 inch is for the seam allowance, so that's 2 inches added to this end, to the sleeve width. So I'm going to mark it here and then just connect these 2 lines together here, from here to here. So basically your sleeve width, that's if you measure where you want the sleeve to end, for me it's 12, you divide it by 2 and then you add extra 2 inches, or you add extra just 1 inch for your seam allowance without adding any one for ease. So I'm going to cut this out now. So what I'm just going to go to the sewing machine and join everything together. So first I'll finish up the neckline with the placket, and then I'm going to join the back to the front, right? So I'm going to join the back here, right side facing each other. I'm going to join the shoulder and the shoulder, and then I'm going to put in my sleeve on each side and then close it up at the side here. Finished up the neckline with bias, finished up this here, you can see, and then this is what the end looks like. So the 1 inch that you use as your seam allowance on the inside here is what you're going to use to fold it. As you can see, I just started from the inside, folded it in here. Using that 1 inch is what I used to fold it. So you just start from the inside, fold that 1 inch, come out here, and then go all the way around. Get to this point here, fold it in, give it a stitch, cross over to the other side, and then fold it all the way around. So that's how you finish up the side. So this is what it looks like, and then you go ahead and put in your button. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any question, please leave it in the comment section, and please like, share and subscribe. Bye.